Let's move on to the following day. We're now at Wednesday, January 29th. In the morning, T returns that rental car. The Kia was later examined by the police, but no evidence was found. At that point, there were extensive searches going on for Gannon. By volunteers, by drones, by canines, and even horses. There were so many people searching for Gannon. Let's go back to the neighbor with the video. Remember Letitia told him not to worry about reviewing the video? Thank goodness he didn't listen. He just had this feeling that he needed to check the video, and that's exactly what he did. He started off by trying to find Gannon leaving the home when he went to his friend's house, supposedly, that afternoon. However, he couldn't find Gannon at that time. So he went earlier in the morning, and he found the video of Gannon getting into that truck. But remember, he never saw Gannon arriving back at home that afternoon. When he reviewed the video, he thought the same thing that I did. He never saw Gannon get out of that truck. So he figured that Gannon never returned that afternoon. He said he watched it at least 30 times, and he knew he had to show Al, Gannon's father. And when he did, Al broke down crying. He said that he knew Letitia was lying, that she was lying about the time. Detectives told the neighbor that this was the break they needed. Now we get into story number 2, and this one is absolutely insane. Letitia claims this story takes place after she and Gannon got home that afternoon. She claims they got home at 2:30, and she disarmed the alarm, and they went inside. Then she claims she was raped and held at gunpoint by a man she knew to be Eduardo. She claims she had met the man the day before. Remember her story? That Gannon burnt the carpet? She decided to go out randomly, searching her neighborhood for someone that could repair her carpet. And she found this guy, repairing a house. So she finds this random guy, and she claims that she gave him her garage door code. Because that's what all normal people do. They find some strange guy in their neighborhood, and they say, hey, can you fix my carpet? Here's my garage door code. That makes complete sense, right? But she claims that during the attack, when Lena got home from school, that Eduardo was so nice. He let her go upstairs and greet Lena. And Letitia claims she made Lena go out and play. But instead of telling her daughter to go call the police or running herself, she heads back down to that basement. She claims that he raped her again and hit her on the head, and she passed out. Then she claims that Gannon jumped on the attacker, and that this attacker threw him across the room. Then the attacker demanded a suitcase. Letitia claims she gave him a cardboard box and a brown suitcase. She claims that he hit her on the head again, and she blacked out. And that when she awoke, Gannon and the attacker was gone. Let's discuss what's wrong with this story. First, when she woke up, she didn't call 911. She didn't call her daughter. She didn't call her husband. What did she do? She cleaned up the crime scene. Number 2, video outside did not show Eduardo or anybody else but Letitia coming to that house. Number 3, Letitia claims herself that when she got home, she turned the alarm off. So if the alarm was set before she got home, how did Eduardo get in the basement? 4, it took Letitia 2 days to tell the police what happened. And if that was true, why did she come up with a story in the first place that Gannon went to a friend's house and didn't come home? Number 5, after these allegations, the police offered to take Letitia to the hospital for an examination, but she refused. Number 6, the police never saw any evidence on Letitia that she had been attacked. Let's focus on 2 things that she said. First, the attacker threw Gannon across the room. Was she trying to explain why the police would later find blood evidence in Gannon's bedroom? Did she throw him across the room? We know something awful happened in that bedroom. Remember this. At this point, no one but Letitia knew the importance of that suitcase. When the police told her they were getting a warrant to get her DNA, all of a sudden she started having chest pain and shortness of breath. Yeah, I bet she did. Maybe she finally realized that they weren't believing her story, and her story just wasn't adding up. She was transported by ambulance to the hospital. But before any tests or examinations could be performed, she left. She left without law enforcement knowing. The police ended up wiretapping Letitia's phone, and her story just kept on changing. We got story 3, 4, 5, 6, it just goes on and on. She kept telling different people different stories. Her husband, her friends, her neighbors, her daughter, the babysitter, the media. The identity of the abductor kept changing. The location of the abduction kept changing. The details surrounding the abduction and her rape kept changing. She was not only calling people and telling them the lies, but she was texting them lies too. However, she did deny killing Gannon, and she kept trying to provide an explanation of why there was blood in the bedroom, why there was blood in the vehicle, and why she took that trip on the 28th to the Palmer Lake area. At some point, Letitia ran again. She left the state. We don't know exactly when she left or where she went. However, on February 28th, in the morning, she got on a website called fakepolygraph.com. Yes, apparently there's a website called fakepolygraph.com. They take your money and will send you a fake polygraph result. She paid, and they were supposed to email her the results. Here are the questions she wanted. You get to choose the questions and the answers. Here are the questions Letitia wanted on that fake polygraph. Number 1, do you intend to answer these questions about your stepson truthfully? Her answer, yes. Number 2, is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Her answer, yes. Number 3, did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? Her answer, no. Number 4, did your stepson return with you to your home? Her answer, yes. Number 5, did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? Her answer, no. Police put an affidavit out for Letitia's arrest. The fake polygraph.com people didn't give Letitia these results. Instead, they called the police. She called them after she didn't receive the email, and she asked them where her polygraph was, and they told her that she was not going to get them. She got mad, said, "You're apparently just going to take my money?" And they said yes, and they turned the results over to the police. The police later issued an affidavit for Letitia's arrest. She was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 5 weeks after Gannon disappeared. There was still no body. She was not given bond, and she was extradited to Colorado Springs. She was originally charged with first-degree murder of a person under 12 years old by a person in a position of trust. She was also charged with child abuse resulting in death and tampering with a deceased body. On March 20th, 53 days after he went missing, Gannon's body was found in Florida. He was found 15 miles from Pensacola in a town called Pace, Florida, which is in Florida's Panhandle. He was found over 1,300 miles away from home. A construction worker found him underneath a bridge. His body was stuffed in a suitcase. What a coincidence! Remember, Letitia claimed that abductor asked for a suitcase when he abducted Gannon. How ironic. New charges were added, including first-degree murder after deliberation, 7 counts of committing a crime while using a weapon. These could be use of a firearm, use of a knife, or use of a blunt instrument. She also was charged with 1 count of crime of violence, causing severe bodily injury or death. Let's go back. What evidence was found in the house? There was a likely presence of blood all throughout the house. In Gannon's room, in the utility room next to Gannon's, in the hallway between Gannon's room and the utility room, in the hallway leading to the stairs, on the stairs, the path leading from the stairs to the garage, and in the garage. There was also blood everywhere found in Gannon's room. On the walls, on the mattress, on the carpet pad, and even on the concrete underneath the carpet pad. There was blood spatter on the walls, and there was blood even underneath an electrical outlet. The vast majority of blood that was found on the mattress was found in a position where the torso or head of a person would be when they were laying on that mattress. Preliminary reports of blood spatter analysis showed that at least one event could have caused the blood spatter on those walls. The event could have been a gunshot, blunt force trauma, or a stabbing. Someone attempted to clean up the blood, and brushes with carpet fibers were found in the dishwasher. If Letitia is guilty of the murder of her stepson, why did she do it? A few days before Gannon disappeared, she Googled so many things, including things like, I'm so sick of doing everything for my stepkids when their mother does nothing. She also Googled, one day you will wish you treated me differently. Was she searching for memes? Otherwise, those are strange searches. She searched jobs in other states, including Florida and California. She searched for apartments in Florida and even got on a website that will calculate moving costs. These searches suggest she was unhappy in her marriage and unhappy being a stepmother. But why didn't she just leave? Yeah, it seems like she was so unhappy, but why hurt an innocent child? I really wonder what happened the day of Gannon's disappearance and the evening before. When people lie, there is usually a portion of the truth within the lie. Did Letitia do this? If so, she may have left us some clues or a missing link. Remember, Letitia's story kept changing. Actually, her stories kept getting more ridiculous. One included Gannon falling off of his bike and hitting his head. Another was that Gannon burned himself on the candle and wiped his blood all over the wall. Another was that he had a nosebleed in his bedroom. And yet another was that he cut his foot in the garage. She talked about blood evidence, and she knew exactly where the blood would be found, even before the police released this information. She knew things that only the murderer would know. Was she coming up with excuses of why evidence would later be found? So in her stories about Gannon's numerous injuries, she talked about a head injury, a foot injury, a nosebleed, and him wiping his blood on the walls. Did all these things happen in the altercation that Sunday night? Let's go back to the candle story. Did this event start something? Did a punishment go too far? Did she push him? Throw him across the room? Hit his head with a Nintendo Switch? And did his head hit the wall? Or was the candle story just an excuse? An excuse to get the carpet cleaned or removed because of the blood? However, if that was the case, the blood would have had to have been all over the room on Sunday night. What happened to Gannon to cause that much blood? Now, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I do know head injuries can cause a lot of blood. Was this a type of injury that would have caused that much blood? I just don't know. I've also wondered what the girls heard that night. Lena and Harley. Is that why Lena, when she got off the bus, asked about her brother? Did she hear something the night before and she was worried for Gannon? Maybe Gannon wasn't sick that night. Maybe he was severely injured. And after this, Letitia knew he couldn't live. Because maybe he would tell his father, or maybe he would tell the police, and she would be charged with child abuse. Gannon did seem to be limping and moving slowly when he got into the truck that next morning. Did whatever happened to Gannon Sunday night seal his fate? Did she take him somewhere in that truck, before or after going to Petco, and end his life? There was no evidence of blood found in the truck. So my guess is that if Letitia did do it, she did it outside. Did she do it in those 2 hours of missing time that afternoon between her visits to Petco? Maybe she had that suitcase in the back of her truck. Was that what we saw move in the back of her truck when she left the driveway? Maybe she put Gannon inside it. She must have had trouble removing the bloodstains, and that is why she asked Harley to pick up more cleaning supplies. Or maybe she used all the cleaning supplies, and she asked Harley to pick up those supplies to replenish the empty bottles. She definitely had time to clean up between 2:19 when she arrived home and when she called the police that night at 6:55. And remember, she even had additional time because the police didn't arrive until after 10 o'clock. Gannon's father, Al, has a huge burden, knowing he brought this monster into his son's life. My sympathy, prayers, and condolences go out to Gannon's parents, his sister, his friends, and the entire community. My heart breaks for them. My heart breaks for Gannon. During a press conference, his mom and dad were holding hands and embracing each other. I am sure Gannon would have loved to have seen that. I could talk about this case for hours, but I wanted to start off by giving you a breakdown of events from that day and the surrounding days that we know about. There are a ton of things surrounding this case that I was not able to address in this video. And of course, in this video, there was a lot of speculation on my part. I am obviously not stating that everything I mentioned is fact. Letitia has not been found guilty. There has not been a trial. In fact, there hasn't even been a preliminary trial. That preliminary trial is set for June. We will learn more during that hearing. I will definitely do an update video when I know more. What do you think happened to Gannon? Do you think he ran away? Do you think Letitia had something to do with it? Do you think Gannon came home that afternoon with Letitia? When do you think Gannon was murdered? Do you think he was murdered on that Sunday night? In the early morning hours of Monday? Or on Monday during the day? I am hoping we get answers to this case. Thank you for listening to this video and learning about the senseless murder of Gannon. No child deserves to go through what Gannon did. I will never forget his voice on that video. It just breaks my heart to hear how sad and how scared he was. Fly high, Gannon. If you want to hear more updates on Gannon's case, please hit the like button. If you want to hear more true crime, missing person, and unsolved mystery cases, subscribe to the channel so you will be notified about my future videos. As always, have a great day. Watch out for each other and keep looking for that missing link. Love ya, and see you in my next video.